49ers have enough money. They can go out there and make any move that they seemingly want to make. However, with each day that passes, it seems like there is more and more momentum building to bring Nick Bosa's brother, Joey Bosa, into the fold in San Francisco. And that was further evidenced on Saturday evening as Cheryl Bosa, the mother of those very Bosa brothers, had something very interesting that she posted on her Instagram story. Let me go ahead and share that with you guys. She posted this, a picture of her two sons in 49er jerseys with a little bit of a caption with like a shocked face emoji, like a mind blown emoji sort of reaction. And look, this is not the first time we've seen something like this from Mama Bosa. However, given the givens,
NFL rumors surface every offseason. Most of them disappear within hours. But every once in a while, a rumor appears that instantly grabs the entire league's attention. This one involves the possibility of two of the most dominant defensive players in football ending up on the same team. The rumor centers on Joey Bosa potentially joining the San Francisco 49ers, the same team where his younger brother Nick Bosa already plays. At first glance, it sounds almost unreal.
You go to sleep, you wake up, and suddenly the 49ers have $30 million of 2026 salary cap space again. What the hell happened? They restructured Nick Bosa's contract. A predicted move, but a significant one nonetheless. The former salary cap hit of $41.6 million here in 2026 slashed down to $22.9 million. So $17 million and change of 2026 cap relief for the 49ers. They're not lessening payments to Nick Bosa. What they did is took his base salary, all of which was guaranteed for this 2026 season, $22.68 million, slashed that down to the veteran minimum of $1.25 million, and then took the remainder, whatever it was, $21 million or so, and prorated that against the salary cap.
The Bosa brothers are already two of the most feared pass rushers in the NFL. Joey built his reputation with the Los Angeles Chargers as a relentless defensive force. Nick became the centerpiece of the 49ers defense and one of the most disruptive edge rushers in football. Individually, they've already dominated offensive lines across the league, but together, that possibility has sparked a wave of speculation among fans, analysts, and insiders. The idea is simple. If the Chargers decide to move on from Joey Bosa due to injuries or contract complications, the 49ers could theoretically step in and reunite the brothers on the same defensive line. And if that happens, it wouldn't just be a feel-good family story, it would instantly create one of the most terrifying pass rushing combinations the NFL has seen in years. Because while the league has seen great defensive duos before, very few have shared the same upbringing, the same training philosophy, and the same relentless playing style. Which raises the question everyone is asking right now. Is this just another offseason rumor? Or could the NFL actually be on the verge of seeing the Bosa brothers dominate the league together?
Tough for the Raiders to trade him. But then there's this other guy who has a connection to the 49ers. He's related to someone on the 49ers, and his mom is really eager for him to play for the 49ers. So last night, Cheryl Bosa posted a photoshopped image on Instagram of her two sons wearing Niners uniforms. Nick in 97, Joey in 99. Is that Michael Williams' number? Who's 99? Who's he taking? Or is he 98?
That's a good call. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, they could afford him. They just created cap space by renegotiating Nick Bosa's deal. The idea of signing Joey Bosa makes you feel how?
Hopeful, to be honest, Grant. I would like that signing a lot. One, because I don't think he's going to get too much money. I think the Niners wanted him last year. They missed out on him. I think Joey Bosa would make Nick Bosa better. And to some people, that might sound a little cheesy, but I think there's some truth to that.
For years, the Los Angeles Chargers built their defense around one player, Joey Bosa. When he entered the league, he immediately became one of the most disruptive pass rushers in football. Offensive coordinators had to build entire protection schemes just to slow him down. Quarterbacks learned quickly that if they held the ball too long, Bosa would find them. But the NFL moves fast, and lately the Chargers have faced a difficult reality. Joey Bosa has struggled to stay on the field. Over the past few seasons, injuries have limited his availability and forced the team to constantly adjust its defensive plans. When healthy, he's still one of the most dangerous edge rushers in the league, but when a player misses significant time, the question becomes unavoidable. Is the team paying superstar money for part-time availability? The financial side of the situation makes the discussion even more complicated.
With all of the talk surrounding Joey Bosa and a potential, acquisition of the 31-year-old former Buffalo Bill and Los Angeles Charger defensive end, I don't know. I'm a firm believer in where there is smoke, there is fire. You have the likes of David Lombardi, who has been hammering it home for several weeks that the 49ers are indeed very interested in bringing in Joey Bosa. We all know that they tried to acquire his services last season before he ultimately decided to sign a deal with the Buffalo Bills for a little bit more money than what the Niners were offering at the time. But now we have someone, the likes of Matt Mayoko of NBC Sports Bay Area, who, if you follow the 49ers, you know that Matt Mayoko is kind of the 49ers unofficial PR guy. Like, he doesn't say anything that the 49ers don't want him to say, and he gets the message out there that the 49ers want him to.
Bosa's contract carries a massive cap hit. In a league where every dollar matters, teams constantly have to decide whether a player's impact justifies his salary. If the Chargers decide the answer is no, several options suddenly appear. They could restructure the contract, they could release him, or they could explore the most intriguing possibility of all, trading him. And that's where the rumors begin to gain traction. Because if a trade becomes realistic, one team immediately stands out as a fascinating destination: the San Francisco 49ers. Not just because they need pass rush depth, but because the move would reunite Joey with the one teammate who understands his game better than anyone else in the league, his brother.
And he's been talking up the Joey Bosa acquisition as of late, and by all accounts, it seems to be picking up some serious momentum. And now, with what we saw from Mama Bosa on Saturday evening, it begs the question, like, when is this happening? Because it really feels like at this point that the 49ers will be signing Joey Bosa, and it's a matter of when, not if. But with all that said, and we've talked about the Joey Bosa potential move for several weeks now on the channel as well, but let me ask you, 49ers fans, given that we know the 49ers have all of this available cap space now, do you want them to go after Joey Bosa? It would be a more cost-prudent move than, let's say, swinging for the fences and going after a Max Crosby. You would still be able to sign Joey Bosa, fill that end spot opposite his brother Nick, and then maybe attack the defensive end spot yet again in the upcoming draft in April.
To understand why this rumor has captured so much attention, you have to look at what the San Francisco 49ers defense already looks like. For the past several seasons, the 49ers have built one of the most aggressive and disruptive defensive units in football. At the center of that defense is Nick Bosa. Nick isn't just a good pass rusher, he's the kind of defender who forces offenses to completely redesign their blocking schemes. Offensive tackles double-team him, tight ends chip him, running backs stay in protection just to slow him down. Even with all of that attention, he still finds ways to reach the quarterback.
We got about $30 million of salary cap space again. Remember, I did the video yesterday talking about San Francisco getting $20.7 million in adjustments. Thanks also to Nick Bosa because of a $7.1 million insurance policy that the 49ers were able to cash in cap insurance due to his 2025 ACL tear. But anyway, the salary cap number has grown from under 10 million. I mean, it was starting to dwindle for the 49ers with all the spending of the past week, and now we estimate that it's about 30 million. We're going to process some of the remaining 49ers contracts here over the coming days to have an exact amount. Can the 49ers continue spending in this free agent cycle? Well, first things first, they have to continue spending because they still have over 20 90-man roster spots to fill. They also have, I think, some key holes that they'll want to address even before the NFL draft. where they have 6 picks.
Now imagine what happens if another elite pass rusher lines up on the opposite side, and not just any pass rusher, one who plays with the exact same intensity, the exact same technical style, and the exact same relentless motor. That's what the addition of Joey Bosa could create. Offensive lines would suddenly face an impossible decision. Double team Nick Bosa? Joey Bosa gets a one-on-one. Double team Joey? Nick comes free. Try to block both with single coverage? That's a recipe for disaster. Quarterbacks would have less time than ever to throw. Play action would become riskier, long developing plays would disappear from the playbook. In short, the entire offensive strategy against the 49ers could change, and that's why so many people are talking.
Expecting him ready for training camp, ready for week 1. We'll verify that timeline coming up, but should be exciting to see Bosa with a very solid pass rushing defensive tackle in 2026. And now we just wonder, do the 49ers tack on a premium edge piece for Nick Bosa as a bookend? Maybe even his brother, Joey Bosa. They've got $30 million in salary cap space here in 2026, so there is money to do in the short term. What the 49ers have to do is calculate if there's enough money in the long term, because they have to leave enough to carry over into 2027 and beyond. That's when the costs escalate. When I had you build the 49ers roster with my roster builder tool, I challenged you to leave over $20 million for carryover room. So that ended up being a good kind of exercise, because now you could see they're sitting at 30 million. Spending is not done yet. Can they keep this over 20 million to finish it out? Will it include the Bosa brothers after this restructure for Nick and Joey?
Because if the move ever becomes reality, the 49ers defense might not just be good, it might become one of the most feared units in the NFL. Most defensive duos take years to develop chemistry. Players learn each other's tendencies slowly. They study film together. They experiment with different pass rush techniques and communication signals until everything clicks. But the Bosa brothers are different. Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa didn't start learning football together in the NFL. They started learning it as kids. Both grew up in a football family. Their father, John Bosa, played in the NFL. From an early age, the brothers were immersed in the techniques, discipline, and mentality required to dominate on the defensive line. They trained together. They studied the same pass rush moves. They developed the same technical fundamentals that eventually made both of them elite players. Even their playing styles are remarkably similar. Both rely heavily on hand technique, leverage, and timing rather than just raw speed. Both use a combination of power moves and precise footwork to collapse the pocket, and both
I see those guys motivating each other on the field, in the weight room, etc. I think it also gives a little bit more flexibility for Mykel Williams to play inside or outside. I don't see Joey Bosa as an every down defensive end anymore, but I see him as a really good third down specialist. And I would love if they brought him on and Kyle used him in that way and didn't get addicted to Joey Bosa the way he's gotten addicted and reliant on CMC. Keep this guy fresh for the playoffs. Use him as a third down specialist. And if you do it in that way, I think it'd be a great addition for the 49ers.
Okay, I'm going to disagree and say that it would be like a good addition. Here's why I look at it. Signing Joey Bosa would be a lot like, to me, signing Mike Evans. And I'm not as enthusiastic about that as other people. Would he make the team better? Yeah, if healthy. Is he... Oh, would you have to overpay to get him?
If they ever ended up on the same defensive line, that shared background could become a huge advantage. Communication would be natural. They would instantly understand how the other player attacks offensive linemen. They could coordinate stunts and pass rush moves without needing months of practice. In a league where chemistry often takes years to build, the Bosa brothers might already have it from day one. And that possibility is exactly why this rumor refuses to disappear. While the idea of a Bosa brothers reunion sounds exciting, the biggest obstacle isn't talent or fit, it's money. Joey Bosa currently carries one of the largest defensive contracts tied to the Los Angeles Chargers roster. His deal includes a massive cap hit, and in today's NFL salary cap environment, that kind of number forces teams to make difficult decisions. For the Chargers, the question is simple. Is Joey Bosa still worth elite money if injuries continue to limit his availability? Teams often restructure contracts to spread cap hits over several seasons, but that strategy also pushes financial pressure into the future. If the Chargers want flexibility for roster building, moving on from a high-salary veteran can sometimes become the easiest solution. But even if the Chargers consider a trade, the other side of the equation matters just as much. The San Francisco 49ers would also need to absorb that contract, and the 49ers are already paying big money to stars like Nick Bosa. That creates a tricky financial puzzle, because while the football world loves the idea of a Bosa reunion, the reality is that the NFL isn't built on stories, it's built on salary caps, and unless the numbers work, even the most exciting rumor can disappear overnight. Despite the financial challenges, the San Francisco 49ers have built a reputation for making aggressive moves when they believe a championship window is open, and right now, that window is very real. With a roster already filled with elite talent and a defense anchored by Nick Bosa, the 49ers are constantly searching for ways to gain an edge over the rest of the league. Adding another dominant pass rusher could completely transform their defensive front. Championship teams often succeed because they pressure quarterbacks without relying on heavy blitzing. When a defensive line can generate pressure on its own, the secondary gets more time to cover receivers, and the entire defense becomes harder to attack. That's exactly what Joey Bosa could bring. Even with injury concerns, he remains one of the most technically skilled edge rushers in the NFL. Pairing him with his brother would create constant pressure from both sides of the line. For a team chasing a Super Bowl, that kind of defensive advantage is incredibly valuable. And that's why, even if the move seems complicated, the possibility continues to generate buzz. Because when teams believe they're close to a championship, sometimes they take bold risks. If the Bosa brothers reunion ever becomes reality, the impact could go far beyond just one team. The NFL has seen dominant defensive duos before, but a pairing like Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa would be unique for several reasons. First, both players are already established stars. This wouldn't be a young prospect joining a veteran. It would be two elite pass rushers in their prime attacking offenses together every week. Second, their playing styles complement each other perfectly. Both specialize in collapsing the pocket with power and technique, which means quarterbacks wouldn't be able to escape pressure by simply stepping up or rolling away from one side. That kind of pressure forces offenses to adjust their entire strategy. Playbooks shrink, protection schemes change, quarterbacks rush their decisions. In a league where passing dominates modern offenses, a defensive line capable of constant pressure can completely alter games. Of course, for now, the Bosa brothers playing together remains only a rumor. But rumors sometimes become reality in the NFL, and if this one ever does, the league might witness one of the most dangerous defensive combinations football has ever seen.